Can you give an overall idea of what dementia is?
Yeah, well, dementia is a condition. And here in the United States, we've been confused for a couple of decades.
Oh,
And people do this all the time, even doctors. Somebody goes in for diagnosis and you go in and you say, here we are, my wife and I, and I'm concerned about my wife's cognition, and she seems to be becoming extremely forgetful. And so you have this meeting with your GP and you get a diagnosis. Well, it looks like Alzheimer's.
oh,
And then, quite often, if I'm the one who's taking the person in for diagnosis, what I say then is, well, Dr. Smith, do you mean Alzheimer's or do you mean dementia? One of the other types of dementia. And the doctor, quite often, like 3 times, I've had doctors say, oh, Alzheimer's, dementia, it's all the same thing.
but it's not. The part that's difficult, I think, is I have been trained to think that elders, or when you're losing your mind, that it's just a lost cause, and you're telling us, no, that's not the case.
That is not the case, not the case at all. And actually, I should just put in also, of our 5 types of attention skills, we lose 3. Not all of them, just 3 of them. And that's another whole discussion, because you could talk about ADHD and how society views changes or people who are differently abled than most of us regarding attention skills. But, that's how people who are experiencing dementia become fixated on something.
Oh,
It's not that they've had a personality change, developed OCD, developed a mental illness. No, it's just that they've lost the ability to redirect their attention. So the metaphor to me, what's really true, when somebody begins to experience dementia, they become less able to take part in a fast-changing, highly technological society that values accomplishment and doing alone.
oh my gosh, there's so much you just said there. Because that is, post-COVID, I feel like we are trying to address this.
Right. COVID came to us and forced us to reevaluate whether or not running the fastest on the treadmill is really of value.
Right.
Are things really more important than relationships? So here's our problem in America. To talk about metaphors, we think life is a trajectory. I begin as that infant in arms down here on the bottom, and oh my goodness, I'm going to be the first one to the top. And I'm going to have all the skills and all the stuff and all the toys and all the great life experiences. I'm going to chalk them all up, and I'm going to possess all this great stuff and be the best. That will make me happy. Well, that's not what life is. Life is a bell curve. We begin at the beginning with very, very little skills. I think they're latent, but they're not patent yet. And as we go through childhood, we are allowed to learn and grow. In fact, we adults even expect that. And so we allow play, because we understand that play, which is not work, play is a really great way to work and grow. Why do we allow that? It's because it's on the uphill. It's on a trajectory. It's increasing skills.